Yeah. You see, one of the most popular approaches which people use, many theists, Muslims, Christians, they will use rational arguments to try to prove the existence of Allah. This is a very common approach. Things like the design argument, the eternal cause, the fact that we have a consciousness, we have love. These are all like rational reasons to believe in a creator. But sometimes the point is that most atheists today, they won't accept rational reasons to believe in a creator. You have to try to identify what type of atheist they are first. You have to diagnose them before giving them the cure. You can't just jump into writing a prescription from the very beginning before asking a few questions. There's different types of atheists today. There's empiricists. They only believe in what they can see and touch, etc., experience. There's people who will only believe that believe in something that is scientifically proven, if there's ever such thing, which once you educate them about science, you realise that there's no such thing as an absolute truth or an absolute scientific truth, if you like. Some of them are philosophers, where they think that you have to have some logical argument to establish truth. Many atheists, though, are just emotional atheists. I call them emotional wrecks. I don't understand why it is bad in the world. If God exists, why did He take my puppy as a child? If God exists, why do poor people? And what's interesting about the emotional wrecks is they only speak about perceived bad things. They never say, well, if there's a God, why am I rich? Or why am I powerful? Or it's never about the good things. The question of good is equally as important as bad. If God, why anything? The point is they only use it as a negative thing. So you have many different types of atheists. You also have agnostics, or some people, they believe in a creator, but they don't believe in organized religion. They don't believe that the creator has revealed a guidance or an actual system of life. So you have to identify what type of atheist they are, because ultimately if they are a scientific type atheist, who believes that everything should be proved scientifically, then what they're basically saying is that they want to see God to believe in God. They say, give me proof of God. They want to see God, most of them. That's the type of proof they want to see. So you can ask them, well, what proof would be sufficient to believe in a God? You'd be surprised they don't have an answer, because ultimately they want to see God. So if this is the case, then you have to now take them through the steps to show them that most of what they believe, they have not seen, they have not empirically verified. Whether it's that the earth is round, or the earth is flat, or that they have a great-great-great-great-grandmother, that China exists. Most people have not empirically verified these things, but they believe in them, they are true. So you have to have the discussion and educate them on how we actually come to truth. And this is one way that you can show them that the rational reasons are an evidence, but these are secondary. We have to argue from the Islamic perspective, because of course in Islam we have something different. We have something called the fitrah. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us that every human being is born in the state of the fitrah, and the fitrah is the basic, ingrained, innate knowledge that Allah exists. Basic things like morality, the basics of morality. All human people agree, all humans agree that murder is wrong, these type of things. The basics of morality, everyone agrees on. It's ingrained in our fitrah. Allah says that He gives us the balance of right and wrong, in our soul. Allah mentions that people who deny the Creator, but basically when they're on the sinking ship, the waves start to come over, they call out to Allah. So the fitrah is a reality within Islam. So that we must argue from this perspective. So you can wake them up to the fitrah by explaining that the fitrah exists, pointing out that we have this innate belief in a creator, which contains not only belief in a creator, but the concepts of basic concepts of morality. And people recognize this. This is a very powerful basis of your argument. When they recognize that it's common sense, that morality is innate, that's proof of the fitrah. That's proof of God. Because it's not your mind now that is establishing. It's not the community that are establishing morality. It's innate. It's objective. It's outside of your personal experience. And the concept of God, gives us a coherent worldview. Things like morality as a basis now. Now there's a creator. There's a basis for morality. There's a basis of truth. There's a basis of our reasoning. If there's no God, there's no objective morality. Morality becomes just your whims and desires. So you believe murder is right, I believe it's wrong. You understand? And so the majority of of humanity, or the majority of the community, decide what is right and wrong. And this is flawed, because if all of humanity were brainwashed into thinking that murder is right, it would still be wrong. You understand? So most people recognize that there is an objective morality, and in that case this is proof of a creator, and the proof of your fitrah as well. So, and the same with truth. If there is no God, there's no basis of truth, because if you do hold this empirical worldview where everything is physical, then so is logic, but physical things change, so logic changes. So under this atheistic empirical worldview, there's no such thing as truth. So you asking me for proof or evidence is ridiculous, because we can't come to truth. Under your own worldview, you can't come to truth. Even with reason, if there's no creator, there's no reason to trust your mind. If there's no Al-Haq, the creator, who is the truth, who has given us the ability to reason, he tells in the Quran, he's given us the ability to reason and use our mind. That's our basis why I can trust my mind. But if you remove the concept of God, what's your basis of reason? This is known as Darwin's doubt. Darwin had a very famous doubt, which was, if we're just a product of this blind evolution, this product of lower beings, how can we trust our mind? Because you wouldn't trust the mind of a monkey or an ape, or subhanAllah, Darwin himself had this very famous doubt. All these things point towards a fitrah, point towards a creator. Having these discussions first, about how we know something, what is the basis of our tools to know something as well. Also, people have as we mentioned, people have their iman in science. So you need to educate them on what science is, because people think that science gives you absolute truth on something. They have this idea that there's theories and facts. No. There's good theories and bad theories. There's theories that are highly probable, and there's theories that are probably not true. There's no such thing as a scientific absolute fact. This word fact is thrown around, and to the lay people they think it's absolute fact. Because to us, a fact is something that is confirmed and absolutely true. But under science, everything is probabilistic, because it's based on your observations, and you can always observe new things every day. The famous example many people give is they call it the black swan problem. Your theory is all swans are white, but tomorrow you see a black swan and your theory is debunked. So this is the problem. One of the realities of science, I won't say the problem, but the realities of science is it's constantly evolving because of new observations. So something that can appear to be so factual or true, and it can be a leading theory for hundreds of years, it can possibly be proved wrong, because science only produces probable results. You understand? And not only that, it's based on your interpretation of the results. It's your perspective on the world, and you could be wrong in your interpretation as well. Once you explain what science is, subhanAllah, people all of a sudden their iman this comes out of science. You realise that science is useful. It helps us with technology, and we do believe in science. But the point we're getting at is when it contradicts revelation, our iman doesn't shake, because we know that revelation is an absolute truth, and science is probabilistic truth. So this is an important thing. A good brother who speaks about this, he speaks about it very well. Hamza Zortzis, he has a book called The Divine Reality. I recommend it for everyone. Also Sabur Ahmed, he's a very good brother who he speaks about evolution, He's an expert on evolution, so I recommend people to actually check out their work on this point. But Muslims even Muslims are making this mistake. Do you see Muslims put their iman in science? Oh, science has proved that praying is good for you. Now, you might not think that is dangerous, but next week science says praying is bad for you. What do you do now? So we mustn't use science to prove our religion. It can support it, but next week it could change. So when we're coming back to the existence of a creator, an atheist, it's so important that we recognize what type of atheist they are, what type of doubt they have, so then we can address the doubt specifically. I don't recommend people just jump to presenting rational arguments. It's not going to work. You need to find out what type of atheist they are and present this evidence to them, that then they know that a rational argument is a sign which should be accepted.